Since some of you guys on Reddit asked, I'm going to show you how to make a almost perfect 0G roll for inverted coasters. And this method will work for any of the 5 coasters in the game. However, some of the coasters, as you'll see, these 2 in the back, cannot go down to the 4-meter method. So because I have to have an 8-meter method, it enlarges them quite a bit. But that also does mean that for any coaster type, you can make the roll larger or smaller simply by extending your pieces. So this is, again, all 5 of the coaster models. We'll do a quick test ride on these guys once they reload. Okay, so let's build an inverted 0G roll. This is a brain dead easy way to do it. If you follow these instructions, I guarantee it will work for you. We're going to build using the 4-meter method, which means that the pieces here are 4 meters long. We are also going to use angle snap to make this super simple. Again, if you make these longer, you will get a larger 0G roll, as you can see in the background there. But for this example, we'll use the 4-meter method. So we're going to start by going up to 45 degrees. And keep in mind, whatever happens down here for your coaster is fine. This is just my sample roll. The roll is going to happen in stages of 60 degrees per 4-meter piece, right? So it'll take you 3 pieces to get inverted. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave one piece flat, just going up at 45 degrees. Don't worry, that's going to get taken up later. We're going to start our roll over to 60 degrees. And then we're here on the second piece, we're also going to start coming down. We're going to go down twice to 15 degrees. And don't forget to go over to 120. We're going to go down to flat here, and now we are at 180 degrees. So now we're completely inverted. We're basically just going to reverse that process on the way out. So we'll go to 120. That sometimes shows up as 240. Depends on what moods the game is in, I guess. 0, flat piece, and then we'll come on out. And again, the only reason that I'm building this out for the demo is that when you do the 4-meter smoothing, you're going to need some track on either side of the element you're trying to smooth. Alright, so we basically got our 0G roll built, so now we need to get about actually making it realistic. So the first step we're going to take is we're going to take the first 3 pieces of one side, right? So these 3 pieces. These are the ones that are rotating, and what we're going to do is move them to the side, just like that. And our goal is we want kind of this rail to line up with this rail here, if you're looking from a top down. And the same thing here, this rail should kind of line up there. And I know this is going to look really hideous, but again, it'll work out. And we'll do the same thing to the other side, except again to the opposite direction. Just like that. So now you can see we're starting to kind of get that weird shape that you're looking for. So all we have to do now is just smooth it out. But in order to smooth it and to really get a nice symmetrical appearance, you want to use a specific smoothing method. And this is a little bit more intensive than the standard 2-meter method, but just bear with me, it'll work out. So we'll select the top 2 here, and remember we want dead center, and we're going to smooth twice. And now we're going to go to one side, we're going to extend our selection up to 4 pieces, and we're going to simply use the smoothing method. So I'll smooth once, move a piece over, smooth, so on and so forth, as usual. And we're just going to get far enough away from the element as we smooth. So also, if you're wondering, I'm using AutoHotkey to smooth for me. So you can set that up. I'm sure there's a couple posts on Reddit about how to do it, but it'll go pretty easy. It makes things a lot smoother and faster. Remember, as you're doing this, do not go past the center line. You always want to never smooth past that center line, at least not in this stage. We'll get to that later. Okay, so we've done a little quick smooth twice there. We're going to go and do the other side here. Again, 4 pieces. Smooth, move, smooth, move, smooth, move. And again, continue to do this until you're completely out of the element. The smoothing sort of works like maybe a smudge tool in Photoshop if you think about it, in that it's kind of smudging the angle and the placement and pulling it out. So you remember how we had that one piece that was perfectly straight? You can look at it now and you can kind of see that it's actually bent already. So part of the reason we put that there was just to take up this bend and to kind of account for how Planet Coaster likes to use the smoothing tool. Okay, so now we've done that twice. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to do a standard 4-meter smoothing method over the entire element twice. Alright, that's probably enough for now. But when you do end up doing this correctly, what you're looking for is this kind of shape where you can see that the rails sort of intercept, but at all times they're always above kind of this nice continuous line that the box or the top of the rail forms. So let's go ahead and give it a ride and see how it looks. So we're pretty much there. I could probably go through and do another smooth on it, but keep in mind that every time you're smoothing, you're removing a little bit of definition. So the kind of snap that you get going through that roll that so many coaster enthusiasts are big fans of, the more you smooth it, the less it's going to have that feel. So just keep that in mind, that there is always a balance between getting it as close to perfectly smooth and kind of losing the intensity of the ride. A lot of rides that I've built where I've gone really, really heavy into smoothing, they kind of feel slow to ride in game just because the smoothing has taken away some of that edge and some of that chatter. And since this isn't a real roller coaster, we don't have wind in our face or something like that to really give us a sensation of speed. So here it's really important to find a good balance between the snappiness of your coaster and the smoothness of your coaster, at least within the architecture of how Planet Coaster works.
So I took a couple extra moments just to throw some extra details in there. I did end up going back to smooth the coaster just a little bit more. It did get rid of some of the snappiness, but it does look a little bit smoother as the ride goes through. The other thing I did as well is I lowered my station just a little bit. I think it was only a couple meters that I dropped it down, but made the speed through there a little bit more, let's say, realistic. So let's give it a ride from the seat view this time. And there we go. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Go ahead and click like and subscribe and join the notification squad. And no, I'm just kidding. I'm not a YouTuber. Don't do that.